Hello everyone, welcome back to another Thrift Store Finds video, and happy Xenoblade Chronicles X Definitive Edition weekend. I made a stop at a thrift store today that I was not intending to go to at all. I was just kind of running early for something and decided to stop by. I'm very happy that I did, because I was able to grab a nice little stack of PS2 games for really cheap, and a couple other things as well I'll put in here. First off, starting with River King, Wonderful Journey. And this one is getting a little bit harder to find these days. It's not one of the super rare expensive PS2 games, but it's kind of in that weird middle category where it's become more and more uncommon. So that was already a fantastic find. And then we have One Piece Pirates Carnival. I was never really into One Piece, but I have a couple of friends who are into it and have been since the very beginning, so I've kind of kept up with it. And this is one of only 2 One Piece games that I've actually played. I randomly owned this back in the day, even though I didn't really watch One Piece, and it's kind of a fun party game. Then we have Breath of Fire, Dragon Quarter, another one that I had on the PS2 back in the day. I never really got into because of the changes from the other Breath of Fire games. I really like those, especially 3 and 4. And this was a really cool game, but I really don't like the kind of roguelike elements, and that's just not my thing. But yeah, it was a pretty cool to find an RPG. And then they had a couple of SpongeBob games, and a couple of them just were not worth getting, even at the price, because they wouldn't be for me, they'd be for the store. But this one was worth grabbing, the SpongeBob, the Atlantis SquarePants. Not really, a show I've ever watched or anything like that, but again, they had a couple of SpongeBob games. That was the only one that was really worth grabbing. This one actually surprised me that it was worth picking up. I checked just because I was like, I don't know about this one. It kind of surprised me it was worth it, though. This is Nicktoons Attack of the Toybots. Nickelodeon properties, and I remember this guy. My brother was into the series. I think it was, what was it called? Tack and Power of the Juju or something, and they had a short-lived Nickelodeon cartoon based off of the games as well. I just remember my little brother was into that. Then we have, very relevant to today, from all of the news and debacle going on with Looney Tunes and Warner Brothers. It's crazy, but the Looney Tunes Acme Arsenal game. And the last one, this one, the cover looks a little sun-faded, but otherwise seems to be in pretty good shape. A game that I spent a lot of time with, and wasted a lot of time with, RPG Maker 2. RPG Maker 1 and 2. I've spent so much time designing my own game, and just a crazy number of hours, and it was kind of fun, but then after that, what do you do with it? It just, you play through, and but it's really cool. It is an interesting series. It was one of the few times that I really got a lot of use out of the keyboard for the PS2. The PS2 I had everything for, and that was the system that I used, every peripheral accessory that was for it. And it's an interesting idea, but yeah, RPG Maker 2 is probably the one I spent the most time with, because of the jump to the more 3D look for the characters, a lot of the displays versus the original one. So that was a great haul of PS2 games. I couldn't believe what was there, mixed in with the usual sports games, and especially a lot of Xbox One sports games that seem to be everywhere in thrift stores right now in my area. That there was actually some stuff that was worth grabbing, the kind of things that normally wouldn't be there, or they'd be there for a very short period of time. Maybe I picked them up just at a good spot, then went in through the DVDs, which have been very slim pickings these days, only because there's not a lot there. They actually have 3 sets of 6 shelves set aside for DVDs, and there were a total of 3 shelves of stuff on them. I mean, that is just crazy, but I did find this Dexter Seasons 5 through 8 pack that was worth grabbing on DVD, and then just a couple of books. Again, their books are about the same as the DVDs these days, there's not a lot there, but a few more David Eddings. So I am very happy that I decided to stop by, because again, it was a totally unplanned trip, and I love when that happens and ends up actually being worth your time. So I'm happy that I stepped in. I'd love to hear if you have any thrift store finds of your own recently, and what games you're playing this weekend, if you're going to be like me and play Xenoblade Chronicles or whatever else you're doing this weekend. And hope to see you back in the next video.